Well, season 4 has finally ended. It was one hell of a train ride, but we got here.
Yeah, it's done, wrapped up, sent it to post, and
Cut, wrap, print.
And now this is the part where brony dudes like us talk about the season as a whole
Exactly.
because it's obligatory or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do here is we're going to talk about the show,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about it.
Talk about the show and talk about other parts of the Brony fandom specifically as well, and kind of the changes that happen, with this season as well. So overall, I really enjoyed this season.
It was great.
I think it's pretty on par with season 2 in terms of how they went with the series, and I will say that how you were saying that the series kind of evolved from something for little girls to adolescents.
Yeah.
I really see that now because my aunt actually was interested in seeing an episode. So I showed her Sonic Rainboom. And even though it's still a good episode in my eyes, it was really kind of predictable. The storyline was, while interesting, still felt kind of done. The lines were a little, not unusual, but more like normal dialogue.
Yeah, in season 1, and I don't blame Lauren Faust or nothing, because this is when she had, more creative control. In season 1, you remember how everyone dug how Friendship is Magic, like, when season 1 was out, how they said, it takes its audience and it takes itself seriously while not taking itself too seriously, and the dialogue is not dumbed down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, season 1, it has all those qualities.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that as the show went on, the show just got better and better at it.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 is not a bad season. I've always given season 1 a bit more crap than season 3 because of 2 reasons. One, because the characters that we know and talk about now, some of them we may or may not have liked when we started watching the show. Like, the first episode is Cancer. Like, I don't dislike the episode. I think those are good episodes. But almost everyone I know that has seen those 2 episodes has gotten turned off from the show. Like, people that are like, hey, man, try out the show. They're like, okay, so they watch that. Why do you think I'm happy that I accidentally caught the Discord episodes first?
Yeah, exactly. and I would always, show the Discord episodes to someone who's never seen the show. Now, if someone's genuinely interested in looking at the show, and they won't necessarily be turned off by the season 1 premiere, you might want to show it to them then.
Oh, yeah, because, like, once I found...
as someone who is sort of like, show me the best you've got, otherwise I'm not interested, then you show them the Discord episodes.
Because, when I found out that was the season 2 premiere, I was like, so that's why I have no idea what this clearly established world was talking about. So I went back and found season 1 and everything else. But season 1, initially, I wasn't feeling it because, okay, writing was fine. Voice acting was fine. My 2 biggest gripes were, I did not find myself caring too much about some of the characters. Like, Fluttershy was always instantly my favorite pony, but, like, for instance, and I would say she's the one I cared the most about, but that's because not only, like, she had, like, up until, like, halfway through season, like, near the end of season 1, I would argue that Fluttershy and Twilight had the most development, or rather depth, because, like, the 7th episode is a Fluttershy episode,
where she goes amazingly, like,
and fights a dragon with words, and Twilight's the central main character, so it's like, of course, we're supposed to bond with Twilight. I think what they intended was we were supposed to see Ponyville and equestrian stuff kind of through Twilight in a sense, because when she gets to Ponyville, it's like stranger in a strange land, you know what I mean? So there's that. Second, and second, I could not stand half of Pinkie Pie's songs.
Agreed. They really were dumbed down to like these little ditties, especially Evil Enchantress. Because I'm going to say what Josh Scorcher said here. You know, it was interesting instrumentation because they went a step farther from just making it in a minor key. They did something else to it. I forget exactly what it was. It was
you said big words that I don't know.
It was it's basically a step beyond a minor key. But it was very interesting. If it wasn't for the lyrics that were just so grating.
And Friendship is Magic, to me, has always kind of been hit and miss with me on some of the lyrics. A few times, I'm just like, that's awesome. But sometimes I'm just like, that's the kids' show showing.
Yeah.
Which, you know, jokes aside and stuff, I wouldn't want Friendship is Magic to be anything else, because it was started at, I would argue it was started as a family show, because that's Lauren Faust's background, not a show for little kids necessarily, but a show that kids could watch with their folks, which season 1 Friendship is Magic did have that. But you gotta think, somewhere through writing it, one of the writers was like, oh my god, these songs are annoying, because in Over a Barrel, that's the Buffalo one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, in Over a Barrel, that the Chief Stronghoof and the sheriff are like, we agreed that was the worst song of all time. And you can see throughout season 1, like, the friends start getting annoyed at Pinkie Pie's songs, whenever they come up and stuff, kind of. And it's kind of like, so is Pink is I didn't get if it was like a parody almost of the fact of like, hey, a song in a kids show, or if they just became self-aware after a few episodes. But and also the third reason was I did not dig no wait, what was the third reason? Oh wait, I already mentioned characters. Okay, so that was basically it. The characters and the songs of season 1. Like season 2, when you look back on season 2, you can kind of see the shades of what was to come in like the last 3 episodes of season 1, like Party of One, Best Night Ever, and what was the one before that? It wasn't Cutie Mark Chronicles, was it?
Yep.
Where's my season 1 DVD? Oh, whatever. I have all of the DVDs.
I still need to get them, although I'm really only excited for season 1 because I want to hear the commentary.
There's like seriously 10, 12 DVDs now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I think we should get back on to season 4.
Yeah,
we're kind of ranting on the previous seasons, but you know they're still really good.
Do you want to kind of just like retake that, or
no? It's fine.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, back to season 4.
Yeah.
So basically that was my thing with season 4, and you know how you can really see like the evolution of it all come into season 4, because the writing, I don't want to say the writing got more serious, but it had more of a slight edge and kind of a depth to it. The music expanded.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
The range of music expanded, and that was, you know, for a music freak like me, that was like, oh, that sounds really, really cool.
Yeah.
You know, the characters, and then the animation.
Absolutely, that lens flare. Like, I guarantee you, either Steven Spielberg or J.J. Abrams had a hand in this season.
Oh my god. If J.J. Abrams and or Spielberg liked the show, I would freak.
What if they were bronies? That would be awesome.
It'd just be like 80s childhood and reboot Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80s childhood has been saved.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. That would just be full circle, wouldn't it?
It would.
Like one of the kings of the 80s just liked this. Oh my god. But yeah, that's pretty much my thing, is that it really is noticeable how things have changed from writing to song making to just the scope, because in season 1, except for like the few things at Camelot, it all takes place in it all takes place in Ponyville. And that one episode in Cloudsdale, Sonic Rainbow. Season 2 takes place. They go to Camelot, but don't they go somewhere else? Well, wait. Also, in season 1 was Appaloosa.
Yes.
Yeah, season 1 was Appaloosa.
They do,
but,
they just tend to kind of expand it a little bit more in season 2.
But in season 4, we finally go to Manhattan, the one city that, it's not been built up, but we always hear about it. That's where Babs Seed's from. That's it's their New York, pretty much. So the scope keeps ever increasing with everything, and it's really
world
awesome.
Building in this season. Oh my gosh!
That was one thing season 4 had that the other seasons did not, was the fact that more world building, but a lot of exposition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like at the beginning of each episode, like the first 10 sentences out of their mouths were like telling you the setup of the plot for this episode, and it's kind of like we could assume that maybe. Like, they're going to Manhattan for a rarity read.
It's like off-screen action, great,
Or it's like, hey, Rarity has to go to Manhattan, and it's something for clothes. We could probably assume it was something for clothes.
Exactly.
And then Twilight's like, of course we join you for Fashion Week, Rarity, and it's like, good awkward line read, Tara. That's another thing. There's, I don't know. It seems like there was a lot more first takes on lines, but maybe that's just me. I'm I'm really anal about that stuff.
Yeah. So, one thing I will say about Season 4 is the fact that, with the exception of Season 3, there's always been where you had, some good episodes, some bad episodes, and some okay episodes sprinkled in. Season 3, it seemed like you had 7 episodes of strength, and then a string of meh episodes with 1 or 2 really bad episodes in there. So I get sorry, it's something in the throat. But, and then you have Magical Mystery Cure, which the feels. This season had, a lot of good episodes.
This season had a lot of, episodes ranging from epic to awesome-tacular. Like Rarity Takes Manhattan.
And also from okay to awful as well.
Yeah, Pinky Apple Pie. Pinky Apple Pie, awesome. Pinky Pride, awesome-tacular.
Absolutely.
Simple Ways. That's probably my least favorite episode of this season. It's either that or Some Pony to Watch Over Me.
What about Three's a Crowd?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love Simple Ways. I meant Three's a Crowd.
Okay.
That's another thing. I keep forgetting because I never really memorized the show by episodes anyway. I'm just like, okay, what happened there?
Yeah.
Or what shipping joke did I make in that episode? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's funny. I can never remember the name for Simple Ways anyway, and there I go replace it with Three's. I feel ashamed because I liked Simple Ways.
Simple Ways was actually pretty okay.
I like that.
It was one of those meh episodes that was actually brought up to a pretty decent episode in my book.
The last 3 minutes of that episode.
I love being covered in mud.
That altercation between Applejack and Rarity, that is going in the history books.
Absolutely.
As one of the greatest paradigmoxes of time. But speaking of the really good episodes, there were some really, really, really good episodes because they weren't the episodes that focused a lot on world building. They were the ones that focused on the characters and their and their relationships with the other ponies. Except Rarity Takes Manhattan, that one was pretty much all Rarity, with it being the first key episode. I feel they kind of shoehorned the friendship lesson at the end of it, but I mean, they kind of had to. She did put them to slavery in a Chinese workshop, so.
And then you have episodes like Flight to the Finish, which is just it addresses something that we've been waiting for, and just completely
kills it,
and especially, we have talked about it, I've talked about it on this channel, of the fact of, how is Rainbow Dash going to, confront this issue with Scootaloo not being able to fly? They executed it in a way that was believable and made a lot of sense. Dash was an encourager, but not to the point of, I'm in full support and you're everything I ever wanted and blah, 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 blah. No.
Yeah, it wasn't
it's
support.
You're special because it's you. And you're awesome, but that doesn't mean you could be better.
Exactly.
You know?
I love the way Dash addressed that at the end of that episode.
Absolutely.
Because I always said there was 3 ways they could go about it. Completely supportive, completely non-supportive, or some middle ground. They took the middle ground, they ran with it, and man, they took it to the bank.
And what I love, especially with Dash, the one thing I really did like was the fact that, you know, Scootaloo's in tears at that point, and it's just like, Dash is not ignoring it, but she sees it and she accepts it as not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength.
Well, yeah.
You know, and it's
because
wonderful
I would
that.
say Rainbow Dash sees herself in Scootaloo a little bit.
Absolutely.
And Scootaloo is definitely I would say, as far as character depth wise, it's probably the deepest out of the CMC, because it really seemed like in season 1 they were building up Apple Bloom to kind of be the main character, like the main driving force of the trio. But then in season 2 we got Sisterhood Social. Then in season 3 we got Sleepless in Ponyville. Now, and then in this season we have Flight to the Finish and For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. So, and Apple Bloom had a crap episode. So I think that kind of not backfired, but it didn't really work out.
Yeah,
but it worked out in an awesome way, because we got one potentially really cool character for 2 really awesome characters.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the CMC, they each had an episode this season, which they haven't done in other seasons. Which normally in the other ones, like it was an Apple Bloom episode, CMC episode. Then it was a Sweetie Belle episode, CMC episode. Then in 3 it was CMC, Scootaloo. And this one, all 3 of them. That's what I love. That's one of the best parts about this being 26 episodes. All CMCs got an episode, and we got a CMC episode, and the CMC episode was baller.
And it's great to see that, like, there were character studies of each of the CMC, but it didn't feel like the rest of the group was shoehorned in.
Exactly. They kind of conquered their fears by themselves, but with help at the same time. But with enough help to where they didn't rely on anybody else, but with enough help to know that they aren't alone, which gave them, the force. And in season 5, I guarantee Apple Bloom's going to get a visit from Luna.
Yep.
Because Scootaloo did in season 3, which I'm like, okay, Scootaloo and Luna on the same screen. And then this is before Scootaloo, started getting in a duel with Sweetie Belle, is my favorite CMC. Still undecided on that, by the way, because both are awesome. Then in For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils, she gets a visit from Luna. I would actually argue that maybe Luna had the biggest impact on Sweetie Belle, because with Scootaloo, it's like, she's like, you gotta face your fears, and I'm gonna give you your fears so you can kind of try to fight it, but I'm also gonna give you advice. And then she left it ultimately up to her and Rainbow Dash, which makes sense. But with Sweetie Belle, she's got Rarity, but she never really, I don't think she's ever viewed Rarity as a true confidant, kind of. So, not only does she directly help more, like show her more and kind of do more for Sweetie Belle, but she actually directly helps her, which I was like, man, Luna is so cool.
Yeah. But, as with all the great stuff this season, which I loved almost everything about this season, inevitably there's some bad stuff too.
Oh, there were some shite. Let's talk. Which one do you want? Which one are we gonna roast first? Pony or Three's a Crowd?
Actually, I was gonna think of 2 specific characters first.
First
off, Pinkie Pie, what happened to you?
For a few episodes.
For some of the episodes, especially Three's a Crowd and Philly Manili, and those kind of episodes, it's like, what happened to you? you're not stupid. Like,
yeah.
ooh, floaty thing. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
It makes me want to go up to Andrea Libman and think, what was your idea when you saw ooh, floaty thing on the script? And you just like raised your hand and you're just like, why the fuck am I reading this?
Oh my god, I would love to hear Andrea Libman drop an F-bomb in, like, Fluttershy's voice.
Actually, I hear she actually did that, because, like, there was one point where she, got on an elevator and hit the wrong floor button or whatever, and this guy was sitting there, and all of a sudden, in a little petite Fluttershy voice, she's like, fuck, 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 fuck. I'm like, that's yes, awesome. That's baller.
Yeah, Andrea Libman's so bomb. She gets her own bloody panels.
I know, she's amazing.
So, so about Pinkie Pie. Okay, I noticed that. Okay, like, you know how people always joke she's bipolar. That's not because of a mental thing. No, that's because on who's writing her. Mm-hmm. And you could really, I don't want to say inexperienced, but I'm pretty sure everyone's got their own writers for the show have their own way of writing Pinkie Pie. Mm-hmm. There's only a few times I can really see there's that balance between you know, the fun-loving, cutesy Pinkie Pie and the Pinkie Pie that knows where she is and is down to earth, i.e., Mod Pie.
Yeah, you know, I will say one thing though. It's interesting that
in Philly Manili, Pinkie Pie was
in Philly Manili that there's both Amy Keaton Rogers episodes. It seems like Amy has a good grasp on Pinkie as, like, the crazy type, and she writes her very well.
Oh, yeah.
Especially emotionally, too. But when you put her as the kind of supposed to be helper, she does not write her well. This is another reason why I do not like... the
A Friend Indeed,
the Cranky Doodle episode.
That
because
episode
she is
die.
So naive in that episode, and she's the exact same way in Philly Manili. The fact is, the reason I loved Philly Manili is because it wasn't based around Pinkie. Friend Indeed I hate because it was based around Pinkie, and you had to see that throughout the entire episode.
Some people can say it was a learning experience for Pinkie Pie, but here's the thing. I won't say Pinkie Pie is not naive. She's got this balance between natural innocence and naivete. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's not that she can't grasp things. Mm-hmm. She just grasps them in different ways. That's what I feel personally about it. But yeah, no, in Philly Manili, Pinkie Pie was being a dick.
Yeah.
But that's why I was saying about Mod Pie. I think do you remember who wrote that? Was that Nastasha Levenger, right?
Actually, no. That was a one writer, Noelle Venuti.
Oh, well, because I was going to say the people that I've seen write Pinkie Pie the best are Nastasha Levenger, because she wrote Pinkie Apple Pie, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, she did.
Yeah, her, Corey Powell. Mm-hmm. I would say Dave Polsky, but I can't recall of any episode he wrote where she was a significant part right off the bat.
And if I totally forget Barrel and Too Many Pinkie Pies.
Oh, it was Too Many Pinkie Pies. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you know what? There are 78 episodes. No, there are 87 episodes in the show. I can't remember them all.
Almost 100 episodes, guys. Can you believe that?
You know,
we will get over 100 episodes next season.
Halfway through season 4, which will be 13 episodes, which is how many episodes season 3 have. That will be the 100th episode. Symbolism.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say...
Oh, and Megan McCarthy, because Party of One, oh my god. Mm-hmm. That's still one of my favorites, man. I've seen that episode like 2 years ago, and I still love it.
Mm-hmm.
Holy god, I've been a brony for 2 years now.
I've been a brony for... It'll be 2 years next month.
March of next year is going to be 3. God, I'm getting old. Why am I watching a show about ponies? Because it's awesome.
Because it's metal.
It can be. Season 4 was the most metal season.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, season 2 had Chrysalis and 1 had the Diamond Dogs. And 2 had that one bit with Cerberus. That was cool. But season 4 was so There was some awesome...
Especially Bats. Oh my gosh.
Bats was so awesome, because Applejack said, kill all the species! Then Fluttershy turns into a bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, I love season 4, man. The more I talk about it, the more I like it. But the more we talk about it, the more I dislike what I disliked.
Yeah,
which we should get to, because we keep dancing around the subject.
The second character, Spike. Oh my gosh! Why? Okay, I understand Scootaboost was a thing before Sleepless in Ponyville. But why? For the love of God, why did they treat Spike like dirt?
You mean like friendship is witchcraft?
Exactly! Now granted, in the previous seasons, we have seen him thrown around a couple times. But really, it was more of like a comic relief thing, and he did have a lot more to do in the previous seasons. Everything in this season, which just seemed to be meant as, oh, we need to write Spike in, better make a punching bag.
Equestrian game Spike.
Or just write him in as someone who doesn't do anything else in the episode except deliver one line that you could easily just write out.
Yeah.
Like Pinkie Pride. He comes up for one freaking second. Oh, I'm sorry, Pinkie Pie. Write him freaking out. If you don't have anything good for him to do, don't have him in at all.
Or in which case, Power Ponies, in which case they got how to write him completely wrong.
Mm-hmm. And how to write him as just completely depressed.
Damn it, I am such a Spike enthusiast, man. It's not even funny.
Me too.
I know that kid
can be a good...
Spike. Like, okay, remember how Spike was in Lesson 0?
Mm-hmm.
How, he wasn't in there very much, but he was in there for a bit. He was supportive, but he was also, like, funny, and he was like had that dry bit of humor to him, and there was no physical comedy involving him.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Megan McCarthy is really the only writer that knows how to do Spike and do him well.
I will say this, though. I did like Spike in Equestrian Games.
Yes, he was phenomenal in Equestrian Games and Inspiration Manifestation.
I feel that, yes, in those two episodes, I feel that they were able to write his conflict without making him sound like he was still upset about it, but he didn't. But it wasn't his main driving force. Like, he still was strong and persevered through it. And that's what I think. I think Spike could be a strong character. Maybe not an inspirational character. Yeah. They. God, when you said tread carefully, I just thought of Walter White. Oh my God! Tread lightly.
It's like, say my name, Spike.
Spike. You're goddamn right.
We need to do Breaking Bad reviews somewhere.
Oh, that show. And if you're not prepared to deal with some drama, your heart's gonna get heavy.
I know, it's amazing. I'm 3 episodes into season 3 already, and I love every second of it.
One character that I really did see a lot of improvement on, I'm honest here, was Pinkie Pie, obviously, but she had ups and downs. I really dug Rarity's progression in this. It really felt like, I know season 3, Rarity never got an episode, and I think Rarity is, for some reason, the most consistently least favorite pony. It seems like, because it seems like she's the one that's made fun of the most. It's always either her or AJ that I always see is contested for worst pony on the internet. Which, I could kind of see why, but in Rarity, I really saw a progression for her. In Rarity Takes Manhattan, she was unintentionally vain, like with the song and her intentions and stuff. But after Suri does that to her, her whole world gets shattered, because even though Rarity has, you see, here's the thing: every person has those occasional moments where they think for themselves only, and it can seem like Rarity was only is generous when it's convenient. But if she was generous and really nice all of the time, every time, then we just hear complaints how much of a one-dimensional character she is.
CB flat, yeah.
Yeah, and in this season, we saw her go crazy twice, to which, and I am convinced, the show deliberately decides not to take her serious moments seriously. Like in Inspiration Manifestation, I thought that was the closest thing we were going to get to a Rarity serious one. Like, she's actually crying, the mascara's running down her face. She doesn't pull the couch over with her mask, she just flops on. And I'm like, aw, poor Rarity. She levitates the ice cream.
Yeah.
And she makes the most adorable sound. She's like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, it's like tiny white heavy.
Yeah. Why is Marshmallow so cute?
It's like, it's weird how Rarity's probably like the oldest one, and at least I always thought she was, but she's all fancy and stuff, but she could just, like, they just have moments where she's just as adorable as anyone else, any pony else.
Yeah. The thing
But yeah, I really dug Rarity this season.
Yeah. The thing I will say that was a great thing with Rarity this season is, in previous seasons, she always seemed to be the kind of pony that she was okay in her own episodes, but she wasn't great. She was phenomenal as a side character, but she was never really amazing, when she was in the spotlight. This season, she had both. She was great on the sidelines, and she was great in her own episodes.
Oddly enough, the character that I would say took a step back was honestly Applejack. And I'm only saying that for the sole reason of some pony to watch over me. They wrote her like they would have wrote in Twilight.
And like, even Leap of Faith, it was an okay episode, but it was still like, really?
See, I had no real qualms with Applejack's character. My main problem was, you see, if something's really dialogue heavy and driven, like that episode was, that's cool. There's plenty of media out there where it's mostly dialogue and story driven and still really interesting. This episode, it was not. I mean, yeah, we got the Flim and Flam song, but out of the Key episodes, this is the most forgettable Key episode, and the Key episodes have been consistently good. They've been good to awesome-tacular.
Absolutely. But the thing is, like with Applejack's character, it seems like she's already been established as this really headstrong, level-headed kind of character. And when it felt like her element was being tested, it's like, I mean, it was believable, but not really strong.
I just had a thought about Some Pony Watch Over Me. I think that episode could have worked if it was a flashback to when Apple Bloom and Applejack were younger, or before Apple Bloom met the CMC or something like that. Which I think that would have made more sense, because at this point, you would have thought that Apple Bloom and Applejack, I don't know how deep their relationship is, but they have a healthy relationship, So, actually, before Sweetie Belle told us, I thought Rarity and Sweetie Belle were doing okay, but no, Sweetie Belle turned into Magneto or something. Oh my god, that episode was so awesome.
It was.
Evil Sweetie Belle is best CMC.
Yeah.
Sweetie Belle.
Now, we've been talking about, good episodes, bad episodes, good characters, bad characters. But really, where does it all fall? Now, for anyone who doesn't know, and Snakeskin over here has called me a nerd for this, but I actually did go through each episode and compiled our scores together over on my laptop over here, and I've compiled a list of the episodes from first to last with scores, so that we could present them here today. So, let's
I'm glad you did, because I sure as hell wasn't going to do that.
I know. Lazy. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not the one that's going to put time codes in this. Wait, were you going to do that?
I might, actually. That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Oh, I did that when we were trashing on Everfree Radio.
Yep.
By the way, if you hate Everfree Radio,
go check. I'll put a link to that in the description. It's pretty
It's on my channel. It's when I was still a brony. Well, I still am, but it's when I made Brony vids.
Yep. So, here we go.
Okay. Episode 1/2.
Do you want me to go from worst to best?
Oh, do that. It'll be funner that way. No, should we go best to worst?
I think I'm going to go worst to best because it'll make it a little more interesting.
Now, is this worse collectively, or is this worse by personal preference?
Collectively.
Oh, God, I know what's first.
Now, there are 18 places because there are some episodes that got the exact same score.
Yeah.
And it happened like 3 different times. I'm not kidding.
Kind of weird how that worked.
But in 18th place, we have Three's a Crowd with a score of 12.1.
Out of a score of 20.
I hated that episode, I know you did too.
This episode sucked. See, this is why I got to put time codes, because this will be the first thing they see. This episode sucked so hard. Okay, I know I had a concussion when I watched it, but then this may be part to why, but it was putting me to sleep.
It was.
But then, you see, okay, I rewatched this episode twice. I rewatched it about a week after, because I'm like, okay, I got a clear head, gonna try again. And I rewatched it like last night before. I didn't tell you this, but I rewatched it last night because I'm like, okay, I know this is gonna be considered our worst episode. There's got to be something. I think I disliked it even less.
Yeah.
That you could totally see they were clearly relying on Discord to drive this episode and save it. But that's not enough for me. It may be for some fans, and if it is, that's cool. If you like the episode, we're not gonna give you crap for it because, other opinions. That's cool. That's America.
Yeah.
It should be the world, but let's not bring politics into this.
They ham-fisted so much into this episode. They forced so much into this episode. It just wasn't written well. And it wasn't even really a case of show don't tell, but there was a lot of dialogue stuff that we could have done without.
And it's like, I don't really think we brought this up in the review, but we might have. But I'm just going to say it again just in case. That opening scene at the train station took way too damn long. That took, 6 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
That's
painfully slow.
In a show like this. Yeah. And it's just Discord showing up, which was fine, screwing with the main 6 because he's looking for Fluttershy and she's not there. That's fine. But then it just goes on and on. And
now, if it was focused at the train station, like, from the majority of the episode, it would have been fine. But it's just one scene, and it doesn't work at all.
And then you got Cadence. Okay, I was never a Cadence fan. Because,
me neither.
Because it's okay. In the Season 2 thing, I actually cared about her, and because I'm like, oh, dude, she's been in those caverns. Oh, my God, holy crap. But it was really this season kind of where I didn't really care that much. And in Season 3, I didn't because, okay, and I was bitter. I liked the Season 3 premiere, but I wasn't a fan of the fact that everyone just took away from Spike, and Cadence and Shining Armor were just kind of like, I don't know, my own things on that. But anyway, my point is that in this episode specifically, I hated the reason why she showed up.
Yeah.
She got bored of running her king. that works in Disney.
Yeah, not
because
in
Disney. Whatever jokes anyone ever has about Disney, like, oh, Cinderella's promoting lazy feminism, Pinocchio is promoting believing without trying. Whatever your jokes on aside, they know how to write princesses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
Cadence just came off lazy.
They're in the business for doing it.
Right, and like Cadence just came off lazy and. See, she's a good person. It's not like a character, and I swear it seems Twilight and Cadence care more about each other than Shining Armor.
Mm-hmm.
I could rant forever about this episode. Let's move on.
Yeah. At 17th place, which is with a score of 12.2, Some Pony to Watch Over Me.
Okay. This is gonna sound harsher than what I said for Three's a Crowd, but this episode was garbage. Mm-hmm. The first half was garbage. The second half with the conflict, that was MAF, metal as fuck, and the ending was what the hell? Why is Applejack not being held accountable for any of this?
Yep.
I felt cheated out a little bit, almost ripped off.
Yeah. And even something metal could not save this episode. And really, it would have worked with your flashback.
I love my metal, but I like my metal with substance.
Exactly. Let's move on. In 16th place, with a score of 13.5, Leap of Faith. Okay,
this episode was a snore fest.
Exactly. There wasn't really a ton of substance to it. Silver Shill was completely forgettable, and really the conflict with Granny Smith was like, what? Where did Granny get all this, amazing stuff? I know it was supposed to be... I know it was supposed to be the, placebo effect, but it just wasn't explored well enough to make me care.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
The plot to this episode is a side plot from Kronk's New Groove. The straight-to-DVD Emperor's New Groove sequel. Did you ever see that movie?
No, and I don't want to now.
There is a side plot where... Well, you saw the first one, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Which I love.
Okay, so Yzma's back, and she swindles Kronk into... Because he works at an old folks home while working at a restaurant. And he swindles him to selling them this youth potion that, because they're like, we're getting old, we can't do stuff anymore. Well, she gives her that, and then they get all this energy, and they straight up skateboard down mountains and stuff like that. But then Kronk has a battle with his angel and demon conscience whether or not to tell them the truth. This 24-minute episode is pretty much just like the mid 15 minutes of Kronk's New Groove.
It's a complete the entire episode's a reference to that, I think.
Oh my gosh. I really hope it's not.
Anti-symbolism, please.
God. My head is in my face.
Yep.
No, my face is in my hands.
Let's just 14. Move on.
14 we're at?
Actually, spot 15.
15.
At spot 15, with a score of 13.9, Twilight Time. That was one episode where we were kind of split, actually.
Okay, I remember I actually dug this episode a bit. Wait, I was the one that gave it the highest score, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I dug this episode like as a CMC episode, but my main gripe was I hated the fact that my main problem with some of the episodes of Season 4 was the fact that they used the episode's name in it. Like, I like that if it's done good. It wasn't done good in some other ones, but this one it's like, Twilight Time, I wanted to scoop my fucking brains out.
Yep. And I really did not like this episode at all. It was just meh.
I mean, Apple Bloom was pretty much Walter White for a few seconds. That was cool, because she was
and then you had Sweetie Belle just constantly, I got this.
Okay,
Sweetie
Belle was funny in this episode.
She was. But moving on.
I could see why you didn't care for it, though.
At spot 14, with a score of 14 out of 20, Power Ponies.
Power Ponies was a letdown for me.
This really didn't end well for this episode, because it was built up to be this great homage to superheroes, and from both Marvel and DC, and it was really built up to be this great episode, and it was just like, eh.
Well, they did get the comic book part right, but I think I only counted maybe 25 references.
Yep.
Because I've rewatched that episode a few times. I swear to God there's a Booster Gold reference in there somewhere, but here nor there. Yeah, and this is what I was saying earlier with Spike. You see, okay, Spike's the kind of character where, of course, he's going to have these kind of issues, the Robin complex, which I swear I may have called it that before, but in this episode, really, Robin complex. But it's like, in this episode, it's not that it felt forced, it's just that it felt like it had to be there to drive the plot. Because, like, I don't know, Spike, the best emotional dilemma I've seen Spike have, I would say, is Equestrian Games, but this was just it didn't fit good. to me.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
The characters were. The best part of this episode was Maniac. I don't care what you say. Maniac was awesome. She was like Invader Zim mixed with the Joker.
Yeah. At number 13, with a score of 15 out of 20, the premiere.
Oh yeah. You know, this episode, these 2 episodes, I feel got. I don't want to say better with time. I mean, I wouldn't change my scores on them, but like the first half, I liked a lot better than the first half, story and action wise. The second half was cool because it set up the season, and that's about it, honestly.
Yeah, it was a good one, but I feel like Return of Harmony did a lot better job at creeping us out. Plus, at all this time, we're like constant. This episode gave us so much like fuel for Rule 34.
Oh my god!
Like the vines themselves, the potion that turned white. The vines acted like tentacles.
You know, when I saw that part,
oh my god!
When I saw that part with the potion, I genuinely thought it was supposed to be milk, but it wasn't until I talked to people where I'm like, oh my god!
And I was at a meetup a premiere.
I swear to
meetup.
God, there are no bronies here in California.
But anyway, I'm at this meetup. And, like, when she's first drinking it, I shout out, just pretend it's milk.
Oh, you dick. Did everyone just co-optingly just throw you out the window?
They actually were whooping and hollering with me.
Oh, dude, I didn't know it was that kind of meetup.
Yeah. No, but it was funny.
So how much did this have? How many points did we give it? Total of?
15 out of 20.
15. What were our scores for that? Did you write down what we specifically gave it?
Yes.
Really? Oh, well, what'd I give this one?
I actually have to go to my other file for that.
Yeah, they'll keep those 2 open so we can, check the scores and stuff like that. 'Cause I'm curious what we gave it. You don't have to read back the other ones because, if our viewers want to watch the other ones, they can check out our past reviews.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right here on the Undercover Brony.
Absolutely. So, at number 12, with a score of 15.3, we have Inspiration Manifestation.
This episode was good, but like I said, I feel it was the spike in rarity episode we've been hoping for, but the way it went down, yeah, like it wasn't. I would never call this a bad episode or necessarily a letdown or disappointment.
From meh to actually pretty okay.
Yeah, it really did because it started off. To me, it started off good, but then the way it ended with Spike basically having to, kind of grow a pair. That was a really cool character moment for him.
Absolutely. Next, it was our first tie. At number 11, with It Ain't Easy Being Breezy's and Testing 1 2 3, both had a combined score of 15.5 out of 20.
Well, I'm glad you put it that way because I would put Testing over Breezy's personally because they were both good episodes, but Testing was awesome for a few reasons. One, because
the comedy was gold.
The show basically said, yeah, Rainbow Dash is stupid. It's not that she's stupid, but she's not. She's smart in her own way.
Yeah.
But and also because Pinkie Pie's rap. Oh my god, that is everything that was 90s rap. I'm not clean 90s rap. I'm not like that was like Run DMC status. Like Puff Daddy
I loved
there,
it
man.
so much.
And with Easy Being Breezy's, we had to film that thing 3 times.
And I feel so bad for it, but I think the way it turned out finally was hysterical.
It was a thing, Jonathan. It was a thing.
Do never call me by my real name. It's John.
Sorry.
Last name from the Undercover Brony. But anyway, at spot 10, with another tie, a 3-way tie actually.
Triple threat.
All with a score of 16 out of 20. Daring Don't, Bats, and Simple Ways.
All those episodes were good. I would put Bats at the bottom. Then it was no, not Bats. It's Bats, Simple Ways, and Daring Don't, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would. Oh, those were all good episodes. Daring Don't was a good Rainbow Dash. It got me to not hate Dash anymore.
I know that's like great in its own way.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I still bust the hell out of her balls, but that's only because she's just that kind of character to me. Bats was awesome.
Now you love to hate her.
Yeah. Bats was the kind of episode where it was just a good episode. Song was good, atmosphere was good.
It was good, ways. It was good, but it just didn't have any substance really to it.
I don't know if substance. Yeah, I would say substance maybe, but substance maybe depth. No, depth or substance. Anything to make me sound smarter.
Yeah.
And Simple Ways, all dat rare, Jack.
I know, so much shipping. It's like, want to play trains? I'll just sit on my face and I'll choo choo.
Oh my god, that picture was so funny.
Oh, I love that picture. I sent that to Snakeskin. I'm just like, the Rare Jack shipping, I can't take it. And then he texts me back, he's like, oh yeah, boy.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, boy, with like 12 eyes.
Yeah.
So what's number 11?
Number 9, actually.
I mean 9. Oh, where have I been?
In 9th place, with a score of 16.3 out of 20, we have Equestria Games.
That episode was boss.
It was.
Like, I really dig that episode, not just as a Spike episode, because there was no point in this episode where I was like, that writing for that character sucks. Mm-hmm. No, all the writing was pretty much on for this episode, and it created this really good tale of, I don't know, inadequacy.
Like almost self-acceptance?
Yeah, kind of. Because Spike doesn't need to worry, though, man. He saved the Crystal Empire.
Yep.
Has Twilight saved a kingdom? Oh, wait. Damn it.
Yes. We'll get to that eventually.
Yes.
Eventually. But anyway, in 8th place with a score of 17.25 out of 20, Philly Vanilli.
Yeah.
Love this episode, but Pinkie Pie kind of killed it.
Yeah, that was the same thing.
Knocked it down a few pegs, unfortunately.
Admittedly, I gave this one a bit of a high score because of Fluttershy in general, because I loved her character in this episode.
And so much "hey there, Brony" sort of stuff.
There was a lot of good in this episode, but there were some scathing boils upon it, but they weren't enough to give it a really bad score.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those episodes we talked about where it was like, it was good, but there was some in there.
Yeah. And number 7, with a score of 17.8 out of 20, Rainbow Falls.
Okay.
This episode is universally hated by the fandom. We're like the only two that actually thought it was okay.
Okay. This episode is business. This episode, I really dug Rainbow. I actually dug Rainbow Dash's character more than Daring Don't, because it was one of the depths I've ever seen her. Because, like, okay, there are episodes where her and admittedly Rarity's not the conflicts, but their resolving of conflicts feels forced, kind of. Like, it's like, I don't really buy that. But in this one, the conflict felt a little forced, like with her having to decide, do I help my friends or do I help my dream mates or whatever. But I feel the way she went about it, it's not necessarily what she necessarily should have done, or if that's what she would have done as her character, but goddamn, that was funny.
Yeah, it was.
It was funny.
And it was really, like I said, it's one of the most universally hated episodes, and they say that it has no substance, it has no anything. I really had fun with this episode. I don't know why everyone said this was the worst thing since...
Yeah, I know. And
the worst thing since Spike at Your Service, you know?
And a lot of those people probably thought that Three's a Crowd had a lot of substance.
I know, right? That's one thing we're going to rant on in just a few minutes here, but I think we should start powering through these a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And number 6...
Number
6, we have another three-way tie. Castlemania, For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils, and Rarity Takes Manhattan, with a combined score of 18 out of 20. Now, I'm going to say with Rarity Takes Manhattan, my original score for this episode. Let me find it real quick. My original
You gave this
score,
like a 5.
I gave it a 6.
Oh.
But I watched it a few more times, and I started liking it a lot better, so I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I was there when you did it, too.
I know. And it was really good. Yeah. I think the episode was really good. I think a lot of it really just stemmed from the song, because the song felt so ham-fisted to me. It was just like, oh,
generosity!
Stop! Anyway.
Yeah, I liked the episode. That was my first 10.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
So,
and speaking of episodes that got 10s...
Spot number 5, it was a dual tie, with both a scored 18.4, Pinky Apple Pie and Traja.
Okay, these were both awesome for awesome reasons. Pinky Apple Pie was bomb because of the fact that Pinkie Pie's character was explored but subtly, and it was done awesome. And the Apple family's interaction was hilarious because it really showed that like it's kind of like, yeah, you know, even though the Apple family, like, you know, on the surface the Apple family always seems to like get along and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, because they do, you know. But it really showed that, you know, grass always looks greener on the other side.
Yep.
And Traja was awesome to me because of the story was good, the characters written funny, and so much shipping fuel.
I know.
It had the 3 best ships
in the entire show. Agreed.
Yeah.
So we're getting to the top 5 here now, folks. At number 4, with a score of 19 out of 20, Pinky Pride. Ain't that a shocker? We thought that was going to be number 1.
Oh, yeah.
What a phenomenal episode. Weird Al and Pinkie Pie. You cannot get better than that.
Dude.
And a full-on Pony Polka that is canon.
That battle was is one of the most amazing things in the show. The interactions were awesome. Andrea Lemon and Weird Al, because I gotta assume Weird Al and Andrea were in the same room they recorded. They played off each other so well.
And it had some of the best faces in the entire season.
Oh my god, that episode was... Oh, I can't... It was Pinkie Pie's key episode, and it was beast.
Anyway.
It was Pinkie Pie's key episode, it was beast, and it was just awesome.
And now, we're down to the top 3, folks. The 3 episodes that were some of the best this season had to offer.
Best ever.
At number 3, with a score of 19.1, Flight to the Finish.
Yeah!
Amazing Scootaloo episode. Oh my gosh.
This episode had so much good. The only lame part was the token conflict between Scootaloo and the CMC.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode, it was so good. Oh my god, this episode was so good. It was such a good episode. Everything about it was awesome.
That song is
horses. I mean, the lyrics were kind of dumb, but still.
But the visuals were amazing.
Oh my god, it was so good.
And that's some of the best character development we've seen from Scootaloo.
Some of the best character development in the entire show.
Yeah. Oh. So many feels from her crying. Anyway,
man.
At number 2, with a score of 19.7, Maud Pie.
Maud freaking Pie.
This episode, my gosh.
It was awesome.
This was some of the best comedy this show has ever put out there.
Maud Pie was awesome as a character.
And it's like, oh my gosh. So much potential in this character. Because this is like a character that has some severe Asperger's syndrome. on the autism spectrum, and it really shows through, and it really works as great dead air comedy.
That moment though, when Pinkie Pie got her hoof stuck in the rock, and she just blazes through that course, and then bam,
she's a freaking
she
jackhammer.
drills through the rocks. It's like, man, Dig Dug be damn.
And then she smiles at the end. I don't really like Clark Kenny, but I love
Pinkie Pie. And that's it. Pinkie Pie and Maude had such a cool relationship. The few times they touched on it, it felt so genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that episode was awesome.
I will say, Maud Pie and Tom, my official OTP. Anyway.
Well, I guess her favorite music really is rock and roll.
She loves the Rolling Stones. She loves
the Stone Roses.
The Stone Temple Pilots. But we need to get back on.
Yeah.
So
number one.
Number one. Now you could probably already guessed.
Oh yeah.
But Twilight's Kingdom. Like I said, fucking genius.
It was so awesome. It was epic. It was beautiful. It was funny. It was intense. It was epic. It was awesome. I said that like 3 times. I don't care. It was so
awesome. Good. This episode just, oh my gosh. Like I said in the review, I went to this episode going, impress me. It not only impressed me, but it raised my expectations to way up. This season finale is the best of any season finale, if not of the entire show.
Oh my god. This was, I think, I said, we found the thing that was able to top Canterlot Wedding.
Absolutely.
Now, oh my, this didn't even need shipping fuel in it to be awesome. Mm-hmm. The fights were so badass.
They were.
Oh my god.
Now, what does this all amount to? Now, I did some calculations, and hopefully they're correct, because I ain't doing them again.
Yeah.
This season, out of 480 points, got a grand total score of 394.95 points out of 480. It didn't really stack up as much as I thought it would, honestly.
Huh. Yeah, because that's about, what, a C? A B, maybe?
Probably a B minus. But still, it was a very good...
This season's way better than a B minus.
I don't know. I mean, we can argue about that all day, but the numbers are still there. There were some stuff that
you know what?
We could have probably made some good,
those are the numbers, but you know what? Those are the numbers, but you know what? These reviews you and I have made, that's testimony enough.
Yep.
To the good and bad of Season 4. So that's our list. Do you agree with it? Do you love it? Or do you hate it and completely disagree with it? Do you want to tell us your list? Well, yeah, go ahead. We're not going to, stop
put it in the comments. We love this kind of stuff. Now, I also did a little thing on the writers.
If Simple Ways is in your top 10, I swear to God, you are banned from this channel.
Yep.
I'm kidding.
But I also did the writers, and these, the thing is, really unfortunately, is that I'm not counting the collab episodes because it'd be very difficult to try and calculate.
With Brian.
No, I'm talking about, the writers themselves.
Oh, that.
And unfortunately, because of that, some of the writers only had one episode. So they don't have percentages or anything, but I'm just going to give it. Megan McCarthy did 4 episodes this season, which was the premiere and the finale. She got a 35 out of 40 total from us.
Yeah.
Dave Polsky, he did 5 episodes this season.
You're my boy, Dave Polsky.
And 82.2 out of 100. He is probably the next M.A. Larson. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Polsky and Powell are bosses, man.
Meriwether Williams.
Powell connection.
Meriwether Williams only had 1 episode this season. She did She did, she had a 16 out of 20, and she did Bats. So.
Yeah, which, I'll give her props.
Yep.
That was
good.
You almost made up for Mare-Duell.
Yep. So.
Give me one more good one.
Corey Powell.
Yeah!
She unfortunately only was able to do one episode because her other ones were collabs. Yeah, Corey Powell's
Powell's a chick?
Yeah.
I've been calling Corey Powell a dude this whole time. You never corrected me. Do you know how many videos I talk about Corey Powell?
Anyway.
You suck, John.
She had a 17.8 out of 20. She was boss in this in Rainbow Falls.
Yeah.
Joss Haber. He did 3 episodes this season. He got a 47.5 out of 60. All around, not that bad for a new writer. Congratulations. Yeah. Scott Sonnenberg did 3 episodes
I just realized, did we talk about Castlemania on the list?
No. Where is Castlemania? I may have... it was within Castlemania for Whom the Sweet Bell Toils and Rarity Takes Manhattan.
Oh.
Interesting episode. Had some great humor and some great plot twists. But other than that, decent episode.
And Sweet Bell Toils is just badass.
Yeah. Anyway, Scott Sonnenberg, he did 3 episodes as well. He got a 30.6 out of 40. Once again, welcome to the team, Scott.
The dudes are taking over. The
Noelle Benvenuti. I hope I'm saying that right. She did 1 episode, which was Maud Pie.
Maud Pie.
19.7 out of 20. Great job with that episode. Amy Keating-Rogers, she did 3 episodes.
Welcome back, girlie.
51.75 out of 60. Once again, you were awesome in this season. Thank you so much for making some good episodes.
You the man.
And last but not least, Ed Valentine. He did 1 episode, unfortunately, because he also did Three's a Crowd, but he also did it with Megan McCarthy, I believe. So, 19.1 out of 20 for Flight to the Finish. Once again, congratulations.
Ed Valentine was awesome.
Yep. So, that's our list. And the last thing we're going to talk about within the next 10 minutes or so is the one thing that we've been wanting to rant for a very long time. The analyst community this season.
The analysts. Okay, let me clarify one thing. There are analysts, critics, and reviewers. Mm-hmm. We are reviewers. Nostalgia Critic is anyone on his website and him is a critic. Did you, Brony? Brony Curious, Theory Brony are analysts.
And really, I'm going to say,
reviewers people that used to
have
write
more credit.
Reviews.
Reviewers, I feel, have more credit to their opinion because they're going along for the ride and having fun with it, not trying to break it down like analysts are. And with critics, they also have more credibility because they're genuinely having fun ripping it apart.
Exactly.
Analysts just seem to have this one thing, especially, I'm going to say this right now, the way I see the analyst community this season, Pinkie Pride and Flight to the Finish, the best thing since sliced bread, and possibly Maud Pie, the best thing since sliced bread. Fuck the rest of season 4.
Yeah, that's pretty much their thing. Like Brody Curious said, It Ain't Easy Being Breezy was a mess.
Yep.
But a harmless mess. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. When he opened up with that, it's like, dude, just give your opinion.
And just enjoy the episode. Don't dress it up in
jokes.
Exactly.
Okay, I was going to say that. It's like, don't dress up your opinion as jokes when you're actually wanting to rip it apart. If you want to rip it apart, rip it apart. Exactly. Throw in a joke. If you want... See, they write out their reviews, though. Like Nostalgia Critic does.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like... I really wonder if they have fun watching the episodes anymore.
I know, especially Digi, because, like, okay, I will say one thing about Digi that was good. The thing with Digi was the fact that he changed his style, which, at first, it was really interesting, because he wasn't ripping it apart and wasn't trying to look at every little inconsistency anymore. He was kind of going in at the angle of, what can I take out of this? And it was really interesting to see that.
He was really interested in the world, in the mythology. He used to make videos about speculating and thinking. I remember when he had only like 4 reviews up, like shortly, not long after I became I started making videos, and I subscribed to him. I thought he was awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought like this guy's like a Linkara for the thing, because he, like Linkara, used to write reviews, but then he started making videos, and I followed him, man. I followed that dude for 2 years, and
he really did.
He used to have the show on, he'd talk over it, but then copyright stuff started popping up, so he got rid of that. And then he did the thing where his OC's on screen. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Then he and Brony Curious came around. Then he and Brony Curious started talking together. And they seem like the kind of bronies where it's like they value their opinions too much. Mm-hmm. Let me rephrase that. It's like they view their opinions as facts. They don't sound like really open. They sound like the kind of guys where it's like when you tell them your opinion, they're like, yeah, but you see, and they'll try to correct you.
Yep. Exactly.
And whereas reviewers and to some extent even critics are like, okay, I'm not a fan of this, and here's what I think maybe could have gone
exactly.
better. The analysts are like, okay, here's what's wrong, and here's what you should have done.
Exactly. It's like they're not even having fun with it. And Brody, my gosh, you hated Twilight's Kingdom, and then you basically say, I ain't doing none of Season 5. I almost want to unsub to him, if not for the fact that I want to hear his video game reviews now. Okay, here's the thing. I unsubscribed from Brony Curious when I heard his Breezy's review. Then I was curious about his Trager review, and then you would think as a fan he would have gone into this episode having fun with it, because it's not like it's a nonsensical episode, but it's just a day in the life episode to have fun and the shipping fuel. No, he goes in there trying to act all smart and professional and just tearing it apart. And I get it, that's their style, but it just sounds like they don't. The thing with Equestria Games is, like I said, if I was going into this episode thinking it was going to be this amazing built-up games thing, I would have been really disappointed. And
I think we all would have been.
His whole 7-minute video was just that. Get on to some more points, darn it.
It's like, okay, just view it from another episode. I mean, I was let down that it wasn't the main focus of an episode 2, but, I got over it.
Now we have some good analysts that are still out there. Unfortunately, they're few and far between.
And
such
they're
as
lesser
the
known.
Looney Turtle, Nikki MLP, Line Space, and Mysterious Mr. Enter.
Now let's.
But Mr. Enter is good because he does more than just ponies, and he does a lot of interesting stuff going into cartoons from past and present, ripping them apart if he hates it, and praising them to high heaven if he likes it. And it's good to see that he specifically says, I don't like this episode and here's why, or I love this episode and here's why, not beating around the bush of, I didn't like this episode, some good stuff, but fuck that, I'm just gonna go with this,
it's like
he's not having to justify why.
And here's another reason I don't like
he doesn't like it.
I don't like the bronies that use Kickstarters to try and get to cons.
What about Patreon now?
Oh my, Patreon! What happened to you, man?
Okay, here's the only one that I would ever even consider was Dr. Wolf, because he had gotten to plenty of thought from his fans saying, you know what, we want to be able to help more. He brought out a video asking them, should I get a Patreon account? That was the smart thing to do. ask the fans, do you want a Patreon account? Not just, I have one now, please support me. How about this? DigiBrony is getting over $400 of video now.
Listen, if you're going to make content on YouTube and get paid for it, that's fine. But if your sole thing on YouTube
is to get paid,
yeah, then
don't do it.
Here's the thing. Clearly, I'm going to go on a limb here, and I don't care how much heat I get for this. Clearly, he's not meant to be a fan of the show. Mm-hmm. If he's seriously going to sit there and say, I'm not going to do anything for season... You know, he's probably just doing that as a joke. He's probably just saying that to get views from people, be like, the kind of comments where it's like, no, we love your opinion, we need you back. So then he's thinking, hey, I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. But if he's serious about okay, if he didn't like Twilight's Kingdom, that's fine. But if you really didn't like it that much to where he's not going to watch season 5, it's like, do you know how many people would have stopped watching after Ne'er-Do-Well?
Yep. Do you know how many people would have stopped after What About Magical Mystery Cure? What about Equestria Girls? What about the Derpy debacle from last roundup?
Yeah, and it's like he's just doing it for publicity, and that's what pisses me off. And the thing is that the analysts, man, they've lost their way. They used to be dudes like us that like the show, and they love talking about it.
And now they're just to the point of, I have a better show than you, I have a better opinion than you because I'm more popular than you. Now, Nostalgia Critic, that's fine because he jokes about it. Yeah. He jokes about it, and he's an actual film critic.
You know what's
He deserves to get paid about it because he does all the facts, and he makes sure that he has enough stuff to keep people entertained, whether he rants about something or whether he praises something.
You know what's really funny to me is the fact that if DigiBrony or Brony Curious saw this however long this is, and they made a video responding to it, they're purposely going to either go against, they're either going to purposely try to disprove everything we said about them, or it's going to be a sarcastic, funny video where they pretend to be extreme versions of what we say they are. Are they bad people? No. But do they sound like self-righteous dicks sometimes? Yeah. Yes. Dude, let me make this perfectly clear. You two and us are dudes on the internet who talk about ponies. Just because you have some flashy setup, oh, look at my OC, it moves when I'm emoting, or you have pictures from the shows, that does not make you any better than us. Yeah, you have a bunch more subscribers. Yeah, your video quality maybe look a little better. Maybe you're rehearsed. You don't take breaths in your videos. But at the end of the day, you are no different than us, and that is the thing. I have never tried to make it sound like we are better than anyone else that talks about ponies.
And here's the thing. Because you did that, you are no better than Final Draft. You really aren't. I'm sorry. And I know that sounds harsh, but really, you are putting too much into this show and not even having fun with it anymore.
And Final Draft, well, if any of you hear about BabsCon,
oh yeah, that he got kicked out.
Yeah, the brony dude, the big guy, got kicked out. So and now listen, now they're not gonna see this. They may not, or someone might show this a little bit to them. And if they do, if you guys disagree with us, bring it on.
Yep. We're ready for it. So yeah, I think we should wrap this up because this has gone for over an hour and we need to stop. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching these reviews. If you've just seen one, if you've seen all of them, even if you didn't watch one all the way through, we really enjoyed doing this, and I hope to have a better setup next time when Season 5 comes up. I still have to formulate what that's going to be. We will actually be doing partially scripted episode reviews of our opinions on all of the episodes prior to season 4. They're going to be short 5 to 10 minutes of lists, bullet points of what we liked, what we don't like, why, and give it a score. And we'll probably do one of these things on screen here where we talk about season 1, season 2, and season 3 in full as well.
And it's just because of the fact that, you know, we like the show. We like some episodes, don't like some episodes, and we also want to get our opinions out there so our fans can see it, and also, you know, maybe get you guys talking about it, because you guys are, you know, the few that comment are really cool comments to read.
Yep. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching these. It was a lot of fun to do, and I'm glad that we were able to bring this content to you. You will be seeing those episodes reviews along with some of our commentaries uploaded to Dailymotion starting up again very soon here.
Yeah.
So, for the final time, that's it from me, John.
That's it from me, Snakeskin94.
And we will talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
See you for season 5.